the program today, and I call our counsel, Mr. O.P. Meena, to take up the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Gunjan. Dear friends, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. On behalf of Indian Consulate, I welcome all of you. Our today's program is part of Consulate outreach to media and Indian diaspora. Today's program will start with our Consul General's address. Prime Minister's message on the occasion of World Hindi Day will also be read out. Representative from social organization Pratham, Bharati Tirtha and Indian Development Coalition of America will also share their experience on their social activities. Thereafter, slots have been reserved for question and answer for media as well as for Indian diaspora. Now may I request Consul General Dr. Asif Sai to address the media and Indian diaspora. Consul General Dr. Asif Sai.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, Adab. It's a very nice to see all of you in the beginning of the year. I thought since we have just all of us come back from our vacations, recharged and all, let's also greet each other, provide an opportunity, and also share with you the highlights of what we have all together achieved in the last 1 year, what we propose to do in the coming year. And you are also aware that many things are happening in India. Very active period right now in India with many events which are being taking place now in the next couple of months. And right now as we speak, tomorrow 9th January there is the Pravasi Divas also being celebrated in Delhi, and also is simultaneously being celebrated in different parts of the world. The whole idea is to benefit from the experience which many of you have gathered during your stay abroad. And as you know that we have more than 25 million diaspora worldwide, and we value the opinions of the diaspora, the experiences, and how they could contribute to the development, socio-economic development of India. That is primarily the goal also for today. And then as Mr. Meena mentioned, that the 10th January is also the World Hindi Day. We celebrate World Hindi Day, Vishwa Hindi Divas. So on that occasion, our Honorable Prime Minister has also sent a message, special message. That message would be also read out to you. And you know very well that the Government of India has been making concerted efforts to promote Hindi worldwide, and that too also the efforts also are also on to promote to make Hindi as one of the official languages of the UN. So all these are there, and we here also in Chicago we have specialized groups in the Lovers Club, for instance, which does an annual program. We also have the University of Chicago, which has several languages which are taught, about at least a dozen Indian languages, including Hindi, Malayalam, Telugu, Bengali, Urdu, many other languages. So I think it's a matter of great pride for us to just to see and take stock of what we are doing, what's going to happen. Before that, I also have the honor and pleasure to introduce before you two newcomers, two new officers in our consulate, so that you get familiar with them and what they are doing. So I would like to invite, first I'll read out about them, and then I'll invite them to come. The first one would be Mr. D.B. Bhatti. Please come here. Mr. D.B. Bhatti is the new counsel in charge of visas. So all of you who are concerned with visas, he's the man. And also the commercial work. So political work and commercial work. So and he is next in seniority to me in the consulate. Mr. Bhatti is a postgraduate in English literature, and he is a member of the Indian Foreign Service. He has served in different capacities in different divisions in the ministry, and also in several missions abroad, including Kathmandu, Jeddah. He worked incidentally with me as a vice consul in Jeddah, so I know him from before, and Havana and Houston, and last he's coming from Myanmar. So Mr. Bhatti, before you. The next one would be Mrs. Rajeshwari Chandrasekharan. She's a counsel in the Consul General's office. So my office is getting empowered. So you know it's now headed by a council, and she is a BCom graduate, and she is also a member of the Indian Foreign Service, again a distinguished career in the ministry. She worked in the Gulf Division when I was the Consul General of India in Jeddah. So in that capacity, I've seen her work with my boss there, Sanjay Singh, and you know she works under tremendous pressure, and she has handled work very well. So I hope that with her presence here, you know, you would not face any difficulty in reaching out to the Consul General or following up any matter which may be left out. Now, we also have, you are aware, but I will still like to reintroduce and invite to Mr. Meena, first of all. Just to tell you that Mr. Meena is a firefighter kind of a person here, and he is in Hyderabad. Those of you who are from Hyderabad, you know there's something called Zinda Talisman. Okay. Zinda Talisman is a remedy for all solutions. So he's like that because he is a man Friday, organizes a lot of these special events, whatever you see, Constitution Day, Gandhi Jayanti, you know, International Yoga Day, and so he's the council representing the community welfare. So suppose if the husband fights with the wife, he goes to them, or he or she goes to them. So it is his job to ensure that peacemaker also, and then plus bread and butter, because a lot of our entire budget is managed by him. If he says there are no funds, then nothing can be organized. Okay. Now, and I invite again Mr. Vishupal. You are aware of Mr. Vishupal. He is the counselor. He is again holding a very important portfolio. He deals with OCI cards, your passports, miscellaneous services, anything to do other than visas and the consular matters. This is done by Mr. Vishupal. Then they are also assisted by several vice consuls and then key members of the staff. So you know very well, of course, the two ladies who are standing there, they are part of our core team. You know, I don't have to introduce them. They, you know very well, and Gunjan and Elizabeth, both of them. Gunjan is the social secretary and also the commercial assistant. Elizabeth is a commercial assistant too. So I think we have a lot of people who are there, and of course the person who is behind them is Mr. Abhilash. All the, you know, the infrastructure part is done by them. So thank you very much. So at the outset, I would like to begin by making a small presentation on slideshow. Actually, with I don't want to give you a lot of figures and all that, just like a little bit slideshow to show to you what has happened. You know, it's month by month last year. Then February started with the substantive work. I visited Minneapolis, and then Minneapolis we had good engagement with the economic departments there, with the Lieutenant Governor, with the Secretary of State and other things. So that was one of the outreach programs we have in Minneapolis. Then the same month was again very active commercially. We had a seminar on the India and the Midwest, an economic partnership which we did. There was a good attendance. It was done in the very hall here. And then of course the new governor took charge, and then he is a very active governor, I must admit. I must have met him at least 4 times so far, and several times he organizes roundtables with various consuls general. So this was one of the first engagements with him. Then in March we had the sustainability summit, basically talking about how we could curtail the climate, global warming and the climate change which we are noticing all over the world. So this was the part of our participation there to tell the US and the other international participants what India has been doing to take care of this critical area. And then of course you had this Meet the Media. Last year also you had the similar event with you. Then in April we had this very important show. In fact, this was not made public, so many of you are actually not aware of it, because this was the 3rd India-US Business Development Conference. This was basically the top US high-end buyers of Indian gems and jewelry. They had this event, and the people from India had come, brought in precious jewelry with them with high security and other things. So on their request, this event was not made public. But then this, to tell you that this is the very first time, this was the 3rd conference, but the first conference in US, and this was done in Chicago, so it is very important for us. And again to tell you that gems and jewelry is a very important commodity of our export to US and to the world. Then we had this another important event in which we participated was the Booth School. See, we collaborate with many educational institutions to do a lot of events. And with Booth School, last year we did India Leadership Summit, and we very much were part of it. Then the next month again, we continued with the commercial events. We had the Life Sciences Summit 2015 when Mr. K. Vijay Raghavan, Secretary Biotech came. It was very well attended. We also had, for the first time actually last year, the orientation program for Corona and Bose scholars. We have these 50 scholars come supported by the Department of Science and Technology, and additional 50 from the Department of Biotechnology. They come here and then they do the research projects in different universities. And also for some of you, as part of this program, we also have 50 scholars from the US are also invited. Many other universities and individuals are not aware of this, but this time we will ensure that information goes ahead of time, so that people from US, we want also to go there to India. Then we had, of course, the interaction with the mayors. Krishna Bansal is here, many other people from Naperville are here. It was the outgoing mayor and the incoming mayor. It was a welcome ceremony. We also had the mayor of Auroville, Aurora. I think this is again, as you would see, that I'm making conscious efforts, the consulate is making a concerted effort to ensure that apart from the governors, lieutenant governors and the elected representatives, we engage with the mayors. So we have been engaging with mayors. We have engaged with mayors from Lansing, Greater Lansing, Indianapolis and several others. So all those community members who want us also to approach your mayors and engage with them, please feel free to work out with us, and we'll be more than happy to assist you, because we feel that it will directly help you in dealing with them, because you are living with them. And in fact, I wanted to do, we have been discussing with some of the people to do an event exclusively for the mayors, honoring the mayor's contribution to the Indian diaspora. So I'll be very, very happy to assist you in that. Then we go back, please, if you can. You see what we have also been doing, just to share with you, because some of these things they are not aware. We are also engaging, apart from the Indian community cultural organizations, we also engage with professional bodies. So we are engaging with Chicago Medical Association, American Heart Association to do various events. As part of that, we are also engaging with the Bar Association. So a lot of attorneys are very important, so they are dealing with immigration and other issues. So they actually visited. So we are encouraging people to visit the consulate, interact with the consulate officials, see what they are doing. That was part of it. And another element of it, which we would like to share, is that some of the different diasporas which are here, like Mexican diaspora, for example, is a huge diaspora, the Jewish diaspora, the Filipinos, all of them also want to establish good working interaction with the Indian community leaders, and they have been approaching us to facilitate that. So that's part of that process also, which we had a Minister of Expatriate Affairs from Mexico who came and visited me here. Yes, please. Of course, we were all part of this celebration, the first International Yoga Day, June 21st. This year again we will be doing the same, and we'll be working with you. Then we had a series of visits from India, state government. Nowadays we are using this concept of competitive cooperative federalism. That means each state in India would be competing each other for getting the investment, drawing the attention, like you have a good competition in the US here itself. So we had the Chief Minister of Maharashtra who led a trade mission to Michigan. We are trying hard to ensure that there is a partnership established between Michigan and Maharashtra, and likewise we are trying to establish similar linkages between different states here and states in India, depending on their synergies and its strengths. Yeah. Then we had, of course, the delegation from Punjab, which had come here. So there was a minister and members of parliament there in my house. As part of my outreach and the consulate's outreach to communities which are outside of Chicagoland, this was my first visit to St. Louis to the community, although second visit because I visited the universities there, met the governor before. So this was a very good event because we have the Mahatma Gandhi Center there, which celebrated its 25th anniversary. So that one event was that, and second event we organized the consular camp there, which was a very successful camp, and it was again the first time we had a consular camp in St. Louis. Then same month, of course, we had the visit of ambassador to Minnesota. The main purpose of the visit first was to inaugurate the US-India Health Summit, and then we had the pleasure of meeting the governor, the lieutenant governor, several key officials, industry leaders. And then of course the community members. We have visited the Gurdwara there, the temple there. So it has been a very fruitful engagement. For me, it was my third visit to Minnesota in my 2.5 years, but this was again a very good visit. Then we had the Independence Day celebrations. For the first time, and with all your support and encouragement, we ventured out and we had a common flag hoisting ceremony at the Delhi Plaza, where all organizations wholeheartedly participated. This is the very first time we decided to do that, and we were encouraged to do that by the community. And I found that the experimentation was very much successful. We want to replicate the same this year too, and also ensure that this becomes more elaborate, so that then, you know, when you do things like that together, and the community's strength also comes out, before everybody. So I think it's very, very important. You know, I may like my small space, but then if I share that space with many others, then it adds to the strength. That's what I consider, and I'm sure that all of you agree to that. Then this is something significant. Those of you who are in Oak Brook must have noticed this. Very first time we had a friendly polo match between India and USA. This is in yellow, our team, Indian team, which is there. In fact, it started in 2013 when the mayor of Oak Brook, Dr. Gopal Lalmalani, invited me for the polo tournament. And in my remarks there, I said polo originated in India. And then during the discussion, it turned out that they said, okay, why not we invite the Indian team? So in 1 year, we made effort. And this team plays in Hawaii every year. So we lured them into coming to Chicago. And I'm happy to say that they have now got support, financial support also from some of the Indian community members, so that we could make it viable for them to come perhaps this year too, and every year thereafter. And that inset picture is also something unique, which those of you who have not watched, you should watch, is that there's an annual Kabaddi tournament where a lot of players, mainly from the Punjab Haryana belt, but also you would find a lot of local peoples playing. There are teams from Milwaukee, teams from Chicago, a lot of others. So this is again an important event. So this is something, again, all of you should be feeling proud about, that indigenous sports are being encouraged so many miles away from India. Then of course we had the short visit of ambassador to Chicago, in which she had interaction with the congressman, mayor, and the governor's office, and with the community. It was a short visit, but he would be definitely coming again, where what we couldn't organize last time, we will be elaborating on that. Next month this was my first visit to South Dakota, and to the South Dakota University. We have a small but a vibrant community there. And one of the purposes also was to inaugurate a probiotics lab in the South Dakota University. And this was made possible by a generous endowment of $3 million given by a distinguished Indian American, Dr. S.K. Dash. In fact, he was the one who changed the probiotics industry. You see, nowadays probiotics you find everywhere in yogurts and these things. So small industry has been made into a major industry thanks to his efforts, spanning for more than 3 decades. Then we have the Tagore Festival. Again, some of you may be familiar and others may not be familiar. We have Rabindranath Tagore is associated with Urbana-Champaign, because it was when he was actually in Urbana-Champaign during the period on a tour, and his son was studying there, that he got intimation that he has been selected for the Nobel literature prize in Nobel Prize in Literature. So every year, the Channing Murray Foundation, this is the place where I'm actually standing. That's exactly the same place, and the podium also to some extent is the old podium where Rabindranath Tagore had actually addressed the gathering. So this is something very, very historical. Then we had the Gandhi Jayanti celebrations again for the first time. We had, you'd see that thing, with all the lovely paintings, of course, were here, you are here, so we expect you to also contribute this year. We will plan to continue the same event this time also. Next one, please. We again this time collaborated with the Gandhi Memorial Trust in Heritage Park, Skokie to do it. It was a very major celebration. I really liked the one it was done. We have another Gandhi statue in Milwaukee. It is right, I think, near the state capital. So we actually also plan this year to do a Gandhi Jayanti celebration in Milwaukee too. So then the ambassador's visit to Michigan. This was rather unique because we had the ambassador there for almost 4 days. Normally his visit is for 1.5 days, but this was a very extended visit. We had the, he visited the 2 universities, Michigan State University, the Michigan University, met with the governor, met with the economic department, met with several congressmen. So it was a wholesome engagement with Michigan. So that was the thing. We had the visit of Andhra Pradesh delegation led by the Minister of IT. Andhra Pradesh is one of the states with which the state of Illinois is keen to establish greater economic tie-up linkage with that. That was the thing which we facilitated, October. Then November is the Kala Utsav. This time, we also proposed to expand it and do it. The dates will be decided, but this was what you see how it is. 2 consecutive years we've been doing it. Now, in the same month, we had again another interaction, my first visit to North Dakota, and we were pleasantly surprised also that there's a lot of engagement of North Dakota business people with India. They're proposing to take a delegation to India in February. That is the first picture is of the Lieutenant Governor, who may be leading a delegation to India. We had a lot of fruitful discussions there, many of the things, so you will notice it once things start developing. Then we also talked about collaboration of North Dakota University with universities in India. That same month we had for the first time again the Constitution Day. Many of you were there, so you could see that. Then we had in the month of December, the last month, the delegation from Karnataka, December 3rd, I think. It was the Minister for Small Industries, Small and Medium Enterprises, as well as the Minister of Tourism, along with additional chief secretaries and several top officials. They were here to promote the Invest Karnataka, which is going to take place next month. And also again, they are keen for many things. One such thing is also perhaps to have a sister city relationship between Rockford and Bangalore, because both are strong in aerospace industry. So several key areas we discussed. Then this was my visit to Indiana. On a special invitation, I went there and we had a private discussion with the governor and a private dinner with him, and then followed by the meeting with the new mayor, Joe Hogshead. New mayor is very keen to strengthen the ties between Indianapolis and Hyderabad, and mayor is and the governor is very keen to strengthen ties between Indiana and India. Both of them plan to take delegations to India. Governor plans to take delegation in 2017, whereas mayor would take the delegation this year, end of this year. So very important engagement we have with Indiana. In fact, that was my 5th visit to Indiana in this 2.5 years. Then as we closed the year, we had encouraged, as I was saying, that we encourage a lot of students and other groups to visit the consulate, so they come and visit the thing. So this was the students of Glenbrook School, High School in Northbrook. They wanted to come and understand how a diplomatic mission looks like, what they do. So this was done, and our officers had attended to them. Then at the end of the day, we thought that we should just deserve a little bit of a party before we go on a small vacation. So it was an internal party with all the hard work which our employees are doing. So that was how a small journey of what we did. It was only the highlights of the things. So this is it, and we have a second. Okay, now as you see also, one of our important things of the consulate is the community outreach, of which all of you are a very important element. So I, as a consul general, personally tries to see that I could reach out to as many different groups as possible, different linguistic groups, different religious groups, professional groups, and so on and so forth. Many times we are ending up doing things which traditionally it is not expected of the consulate to do. A lot of things on the medical side, and many things which we do also to support the good causes which many of you are individually doing. In fact, we will have the pleasure soon also of listening to three such stories, from Pratham and Bharati Tirtha and India Development Coalition. And like that, there are many others of you who are doing it. I have been associated with the Red Sari movement to create awareness about the increased incidence of heart diseases among the South Asian men and women. Then we have worked with Blind Foundation, we have worked with Arogya, now we are working with the American Heart Association. We did a CPR demonstration here along with the Chicago Medical Society. Then in the coming year, we are also trying to do a seminar on the rare diseases in India. So a lot of these things, normally you would not expect a consulate office to do it, but it's our passion and your own encouragement that involves us to support your activities. So I will be also very much keen to support any such activity which you may have. Then another element for which we have started is the counselor camps. They were very, very successful. These were like the last year's camp. As you could see, the first one was an outreach exercise actually in Minneapolis, which I led it myself, and it went on for about 1.5 hours. A lot of questions which people had. Then the second one which we did was in the Bharatiya Temple of Troy in Michigan, which was led by Mr. Vishwapal. Again, a very successful mission. Then we did one in Oak Creek Gurdwara, Milwaukee, where Mr. Meena had gone there. Then I visited the Gurdwara Sahib in Palatine, and I understand that perhaps this is the first time a Consul General had visited this thing. Again, I found that visit very, very useful. We did a counselor camp there. Then we had one in Bab Swaminarayan Temple after that, and then of course we also had one in St. Louis. Now there are several other requests which have been pending with us. One is in the Hindu Temple here in Chicago, but I also like to do in places where there is a large concentration of Indians. Maybe we could do in Naperville, for example. If any of you, not necessarily it has to be there in any religious organization, any hall where you are able to gather people would be good enough, and then we can work with you. We could gather 500,000 people, and especially in the St. Louis and other places, we managed to get both the CKGS and BLS also there. So everybody will be there, and the key consulate officials will be there, and maybe I may also be there depending on the convenience. So basically it will help facilitate in a manner is that every issue is resolved on the spot. So that will really be very useful. Then, a lot of commercial events, as you have been seeing that in the presentation also, that many events are focused on commercial thing, because nowadays, you see India is the focus of the world attention in terms of business opportunities, investment opportunities. And so we do that. So the role of the consulate, many people ask us, sometimes they're not aware of the thing. One, of course, is your basic things like visas, passports, OCI cards, and every other thing. But then other than that, we have the important task is to promote trade, commerce, investments between India and the States in the thing, and also an understanding, improve the understanding between US Midwest and India. That is also there, and also cultural and educational collaborations. As you see, many cultural events take place here. Some of you are maybe aware. We had, of course, this South Asian Film Festival, which is a very successful event. ION India is there. Then the Aurora, for example, I was very much happy to see the huge Diwali celebration in Aurora. The last photo here is that of the temple in Indianapolis, where it was consecrated, and I was part of it. Then Tana and many other things. Then, as I said, the important element for us, you see in India now, you see the age profile of Indians is reducing. That means India is becoming younger, a country younger and younger. So as we speak, there are more than 50% of our population is below 25 years of age, and more than 65% of population is below 35 years of age. So which means that if you add together, below 25 is more than 500 million, which is like, you could see the 300 million is the 330 is the population of US, more than the population of US. And if we add 65 million, it's 800 million people below 35 years of age. So I find it very, very useful to engage with students. So I go to various universities, colleges, and deliver lectures, engage with them. So this is some of our activities which we have been doing with young students. And that's why we invite students also to come here. So for that also, in your locations, your localities, you feel like if there is some way where we can reach out to them, I'll be more than happy to kind of accommodate that request. Then of course this is the Pravasi Divas, which is being celebrated in Delhi tomorrow. This handout will be given to you to carry out. Then also there are the message of our External Affairs Minister, Srimati Sushma Swaraj, will be uplinked here. So this link also will be available to you. Those of you who would like to watch it, because of the time difference, you'll get it. So this was in short about the journey. Then we have, of course, these are our coordinates. Everybody is aware of. To reach out to me is cgo@indianconsulate.com for the office, which she opens it up, and I also see it. And also writing directly to me is cg@indianconsulate.com. Can we quickly have the other one so that we round up? Something you'll carry back home with whatever collectively it's being done, because what is being done here is also what you people have been contributing and making us do it. This is true because much of this information is available. Okay, now this slide is interesting. I like this slide. I had used it for some other presentation. Gandhi is considered to be the first Gujarati in the US because he came along with Swami Vivekananda, and then you find his bust also in the Jain temple here in Chicago. So this is something again we are significant of. Swami Vivekananda's interaction everybody is aware of. I don't have to repeat. The one which is in the middle, Mahatma Gandhi, George Washington Carver. Not many of you may be totally familiar with this, but some of you may be. Because he is supposed to be, erroneously he is described as a person who invented peanut butter, but which is not correct. But he did pioneering research on peanuts. So when Gandhiji was fighting the freedom movement in India, he got a little concerned about his nutrition, being a vegetarian thing. So he sent a letter to George Washington Carver seeking his advice on what kind of diet he suggests to him, because he has been specializing in diets also. So the George Washington Carver replied to Gandhiji. So this actually, the entire correspondence is there in the World Food Prize in Iowa, so in Des Moines. So those of you who intend to go there, or whenever you go, have a look at this. So it is one of the earliest interactions which we have of the Midwest. And Rabindranath Tagore I just mentioned to you. Of course, Anish Kapoor is the person who designed the beads. Yeah. Then, we try to quickly trace the diaspora origin here in the thing. So some of the statistics may be of interest to you. We can share the presentation or upload it on our website later. You see, the data says that Indians had come to US as early as 1820. 4 Sikhs were allowed to land in San Francisco in 1899. A Hindu temple was built in San Francisco as early as 1908. In 1912, 6 Indians enrolled as students in UC Berkeley. And then 6,000 Asian Indians migrated to US between 47 and 65. And then the story goes on. Now today we are Indian citizens of the top recipients of H-1B visas and other types of visas. India is the second largest sending country of international students to the US. We have 130,000 Indian students studying here, paying the fee of $3.5 billion every year and contributing additionally about $5 to $6 billion to the US economy. Overall, the Indian diaspora is 25 million plus, and among the top 3 countries where we have diaspora, of course, we have the UAE, we have 2.8 million, and then Saudi Arabia again 2.8 million, and then the US, the 2 million plus. In fact, the figure is 3 million now. But the difference between the two is that here people are persons of Indian origin holding the US nationality, but of Indian origin. But in the other Middle East countries, GCC countries, these are still the Indian passport holders. Just glance through this, nothing much to see. This is again from the US data. As you see in the Chicago, Naperville, Elgin, and Indiana and Illinois, in this area we have 71,000 Indian American population. As Illinois state, it is 188,000. So it's a significant population there, and there's a little bit breakdown from again public sources, US public sources. Next one, please. This is something interesting, which is a research which has from a book. They say is that you see that red portion there. One of the earliest immigrants of the Indian origin to have made his home to Chicago is Chandra Lakshman Singh, whose adventurous life remains a little known immigrant saga. He came to New York from Grenada in 1911, joined the army. This is from one of the Google books. Very interesting for those of you who are in Chicago to know who were the earliest persons who had come here and then settled down here and then, later on brought people here. So it is quite significant, this is there, and this research was done by Gunjan actually.
So he also went to India to serve with Gandhiji.
Also, yes. In fact, there's a whole chapter, so in fact, it was, in the interest of time, we are not running the thing, but there are some interesting anecdotes. Of course, quickly, I would like to just give you 3-4 slides on the Indian and the Government of India's flagship schemes, and in each of these schemes, each one of you and your collaborators, interlocutors in the US could play a role. As you are aware that India is poised to grow at 8% GDP, and the Government of India had come up with, then we have this Make in India, to tell you that these are the areas where we feel that the Indian diaspora can really make a difference, either by your own ideas or also by, and any of these sectors could be of great interest, and the business potential seems to be about $1 trillion in Make in India alone. So it's a huge business opportunity awaiting for people in India. Then we have the smart cities concept. There are 100 smart cities which are planned all over India, and the United States is developing 3 cities. One is in Ajmer, another in Allahabad, and third in Visakhapatnam. And a lot of things go with the smart cities concept. We are also working with the state of Illinois. They are also in the process of actually, improvising many things. So we are in touch with many US bodies also. The smart $5 trillion by 2020 in India. Next one, please. This is just this gives you the thing where the cities are coming up and how the whole country will shape up. Because apart from the cities, we are going to show you in the next one is the corridors, the industrial corridors which are being made in India. Now the digital India is again many US companies are associated with India. Microsoft, for instance, plans to partner with Government of India to bring in low-cost broadband connectivity to 500,000 villages. Google is planning to bring wireless internet to 500 Indian railways. We are in discussion with Tesla to adapt their technology to suit our areas. So in a nutshell, the Indian villages, towns and educational institutions will again stand to benefit. As you see in the first slide, but the penetration is still 20%. So there is still a lot of scope for that. 900, because startups is the thing, the Prime Minister's point, the slogan Startup India, Stand Up India. We have 18,000 startups already in India, which are valued at 75 billion, employing about 300,000 people. And the ecosystem in India is expected to lead to over 100,000 new age companies in the next 10 years. And if you are in any of these areas, we can work together through the Indian companies on these areas. The next one, please. Renewable energy, 100 to up to 175 gigawatts, which includes 100 gigawatts of solar energy. Just to give you what it means is that since independence until last year, the total target for solar energy was only 10 gigawatts. So from now 10 gigawatts, it has been jumped to 1 gigawatt of solar energy or renewable energy means a business of $1 billion. The key areas, and again some of the things, just imagine as a layman's term, we have a population of 1.2, have access to grid, but the supply is not continuous. And the remaining 400 million have access to grid and the supply is also there. So that shows you how do we do about it. So this is the time and this is the thing which we can do so. Thank you, and I just want to conclude by saying a few things that among the plans which we have for 2016, and then we also have the proposals actually from governors of Michigan, Minnesota and Indiana to visit India. We also have the proposal for certain state governments and the chief ministers to visit. We'll let you know when these things materialize. We also have the sister-city relationship which are going. We are trying to strengthen where there is there's some kind of a bottleneck. We have written to the government of Telangana for the Schaumburg relationship. Some of you have been following this. We are trying to begin the Rockford Bangalore one. Encourage also the investment delegations to go there. Lot of conference we are trying to do with the Kellogg School of Management in May, trying to collaborate with the Chicago Council on Global Affairs and many other organizations to do that. Educational collaboration, I mentioned to you, a lot of which are being planned. One film is the India Awakes, It is being screened on 21st Jan 2016. The time of the show is 6:15. A film about three individuals who are working very hard to improve their lives, but also the lives around them. And it involves how India is on a path of eminent leadership in the world. You will be very happy, and this is being hosted. Another good film for here, Ought to Go, which is again an acclaimed film. After that, we are also going to have a 12-member coming years. Now, the last thing before I close is the counselor camps. I briefly mentioned to you, but so we will be keen. So those of you who already had approached or you want to approach, and there is one Detroit we are already committed to doing so. In fact, it's a repeat one which is being done. Milwaukee, we will be doing it. Indianapolis, to have a very responsive administration so that people feel at home. That when you are reaching the consulate, to create this easy access. Every day between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., the councils who you saw here and their vice councils are available to meet the people without appointment. So you don't need an appointment for this. So, and you just drop by, go to the counter and say that you need, if they are able to solve your problem, it's fine. If not, you ask for an officer, and the officers are bound to meet you. If they don't meet, please send it. Then we have open telephone lines for 2 hours, 2 to 4. 2 to 4 telephone lines are open. But before that and after that, please don't expect, because you see, it takes a lot of resources to manage a phone line. But again, I tell you, we are the only consulate doing this, as far as I know, as far as my officers tell us. So this is something again we feel proud of. We answer email queries within 48 hours, most likely in 24 hours, but definitely in 48 hours. People are approaching us on Twitter, on Facebook, and whatever else. Even on my personal IDs also it comes. So, but all things are handled and answered. Anything which is sent to cgo@indianconsulate.com or cg@indianconsulate.com is seen by me on the go. So that means it's there on my mobile. So it's the quickest way to reach out is that. So we are again one of the few consulates, or perhaps only one, to continue to render emergency visa services on holidays and close holidays and weekends. But this is restricted for unfortunate events of death of immediate family members of the diaspora. But if in an eventuality like this, we will be, do not hesitate to come even in the night to render that service, provided you're really going, the next day. So all these are there, and we plan to have the open houses and everything like that. Your suggestions are always valuable to me. Please feel free to reach out. We will be having a question answer session to answer your question at the end of this thing. But I'm available anytime, as you know very well. So thank you very much once again for coming, all of you in such good numbers. And I wish you all the best. And I invite now Mr. O.P. Meena to come and read out the Prime Minister's message on the occasion of the World Hindi Divas. Thereafter, then we will invite Dr. Rajaram to share his views on Pratham, and Dr. Prakashan Tata to share his views on Bharati Tirtha, and Mr. Poras Dadabhai also to share his views on the India Development Coalition of America. 5 minutes, if you can just brief them. These are not the only organizations doing it, but these are one of the prime organizations doing it. But there are so many others, and as I said before, we will be more than happy to collaborate with all of you. Mr. Meena. Thank you very much.
विश्व हिंदी दिवस के अवसर पर माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का संदेश। यह अत्यंत हर्ष का विषय है कि विदेश मंत्रालय तथा विदेश स्थित सभी भारतीय दूतावासों द्वारा प्रत्येक वर्ष 10 जनवरी का दिन विश्व हिंदी दिवस के रूप में मनाया जाता है। आज हिंदी विश्व में एक महत्वपूर्ण भाषा के रूप में स्थापित हो चुकी है तथा इसे बोलने वाले और समझने वालों की संख्या निरंतर बढ़ रही है। हाल ही में विदेश मंत्रालय द्वारा भोपाल में आयोजित 10वें विश्व हिंदी सम्मेलन में विभिन्न देशों के बड़े पैमाने पर भागीदारी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर हिंदी की बढ़ती लोकप्रियता का परिचायक है। हिंदी को और अधिक लोकप्रिय बनाने के लिए इसे संचार एवं सूचना प्रौद्योगिकी के नए आयामों से जोड़ने की आवश्यकता है। विश्व हिंदी दिवस के अवसर पर मैं सभी हिंदी प्रेमियों तथा हिंदी भाषियों को बधाई और शुभकामनाएं देता हूं और आशा करता हूं कि हिंदी भाषा के प्रचार प्रसार में आप सब और अधिक समर्पित भाव से प्रयासरत रहेंगे। विश्व हिंदी दिवस की हार्दिक बधाई और नववर्ष की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं नरेंद्र मोदी जी।
I now invite Dr. Raj Rajaram to talk about Pratham. A few words about Pratham. Dr. Raj Rajaram.
Thank you, Consul General Consul Saeed, Consul Bhatti, Consul Meena, and the staff of the Indian Consulate. It was a wonderful update. I've been in Chicago for over 33 years. Never attended a comprehensive event like this where Consul General showed an outreach that is happening in all different areas, cultural, economic, community. It's wonderful. I wish Consul General and his office all the best in continuing this for years to come. All of us are here because we got a good education in India. Personally, I got my undergraduate engineering paid in Usmania University through scholarships. I got my PhD paid through scholarships in the US. And so I place a very big emphasis on making education available to all. And in the last 6 years, Chicagoans have opened their wallets, opened their hearts to Pratham, and we've been able to collect about $1.3 billion to help the needy kids in India with quality education. We do it with our trained teachers, our curriculum and materials, without any solid brick and mortar buildings, using the government infrastructure and with our teachers. We've been able to educate 5 million kids last year. And we do it at the cost of $25 per kid per year. And that is something I'm totally proud of because for the last 20 years, we have started from Maharashtra, now we are in 19 states, and giving quality education to these kids who otherwise would be on the streets or be liability to society. Now, these kids, when we showcase them at our fundraising galas, these kids now want to be engineers, doctors, lawyers, and useful members of the community. And I'm so proud that Pratham is providing this opportunity to these children. Let me just tell you 4 different things we are focused on. One is Read India, where we reach rural India in 250 districts, and also in 31 city slums, where we provide quality education up to the elementary level. Then we saw that girls drop out at a higher rate after elementary, so we started the Pratham Open School Education to give secondary education opportunity to girls mostly, but others also who drop out and want to pass their secondary education in a very flexible manner over a 2-year period. We train them, give them guidance, and help them pass the secondary education so they get opportunities for higher education. Thirdly, we have been in vocational training since 2008. This year we will be training about 25,000 people in the areas of construction, hospitality, automotive, healthcare, banking, cosmetics. So we are working closely with industry to provide opportunities for vocational training. These are the poorest of the poor. We give them scholarships of $300. In a 3-month, they are trained, and we make sure that 90 to 95% get absorbed by industry. And the 4th most important one is our annual survey of education report, where we send out volunteers, 40,000 volunteers, go to all the parts of India, 595 districts of India, collect data on how the children are doing through elementary school in the government schools. And we compile that and release the annual survey of education report, which is released every January by the HRD ministry in Delhi. And that is the basis for many of the state governments and central government to allocate resources for elementary education in India. So please keep supporting Pratham, and Pratham was started by one Madhav Chavan, who went back from his PhD from Ohio State and said, what can I do for India? And he just made this revolution happen. So all of us can do it. If we cannot go back, please let us open our wallets and our hearts to the children of India. Thank you.
Inviting Dr. Prakasam Tata to talk about Bharati Divas.
Happy New Year! I just turned 80 actually.
No, I
First
said
to
18.
2 days ago. I entered my 81st year. Thank you, sir.
You look pretty good.
Oh, thank you. I have my secret. I will tell you if you give me some money. At any rate, I am a simple individual. I came to America with 1830 rupees debt. Today I consider myself 1830 times infinity rich. Because if Dr. Ausipji come, I can buy him a cup of coffee. Anytime. No problem. But let me tell you something about Bharati Tirtha. Bharati Tirtha was established in 1924 in Vijayanagaram, Andhra Pradesh, India. And it has colorful history. Actually, one of the things I want to put in this slide, next time what you do, 1936, Bharati Tirtha established 2 chapters in America. Dr. Pravasi Divas came as the principal of MR College, Vijayanagaram, where I got my bachelor's degree from Vijayanagaram. And he came and he established 2 chapters. Why in Chicago? Why in California? I mean, Berkeley. Because these 2 universities here, great universities, were working on Indology, Indian culture, heritage, and things like that. They wanted to propagate Indian culture and vice versa. People, a lot of them visited Vijayanagaram because the Maharaja's benevolence was there. And so the organization flourished for a number of decades. But just like anything else, from 47, when independence hit India, the Maharajas lost their purses. So there was a big hit on the Bharati Tirtha also. So there was no support from the Maharajas. Right now, we have a minister and cabinet minister, Ashok Gajapati, who is the Central Aviation Minister. I happen to know him. Whenever I call him like Aushipji, he comes to my house to Bharati Tirtha president meetings. A gentle, simple man, wonderful man. So at any rate, Bharati Tirtha almost died in 1999 when the founding secretary at the age of 95 or so, he passed away. Then I made a stupid promise to him that I'm ready to do because I'm raising my family. And I said I will do something for Bharati Tirtha because I'm a resident of Vijayanagaram and it was founded there. So I rejuvenated by registering it again in Illinois as a non-profit organization and also registered it in Vijayanagaram as a non-profit. And so what does it do? I have a one-man army. I never asked any money, but some people like Rajaram and others helped me a little bit with a little money. But I found out Rotary International is a foundation service of ourselves. So all of you guys, if you're looking for money, you join a Rotary Alliance, largest company in the Lions Club, I'm coming to Rotary International. If I give $1 to Rotary International, I mean to foundation, it makes $3 for me, $3, $4. Where can I get this kind of a deal? So, having said that, what I have done, 2002, I retired at the head of the R&D from the Water Reclamation District. I'm so glad Modi ji put Swachh Bharat. Swachh Bharat in the business for 60 years, water and sanitation in that field. I came to do my PhD in environmental science and engineering. Got my PhD in 1966, 50 years ago. And from that day onwards, I was able to help other countries as an advisor from UN, things like that. But unfortunately, I don't find anybody to connect with in India. Now, Modi, you said this is a great thing. But what I'm going to do? I don't know anybody, I'm not politically connected. This is my utas ki baat hai. Ab to kuch na dijiye mere ko. So, having said that, what I did to test myself, am I a giver? Am I a doer? I'm a talker, what am I? To test that, I deliberately retired in 2002 from an exciting job. I never went to the work like Ausufji with a heavy heart. I never returned home with a heavy heart. Every single day is an experience. I tried and traveled a lot with invitations from various countries and gave them suggestions in water and sanitation problems. Now, personally what I have done, I remediated the pollution of a lake in Andhra Pradesh. If any water body is there that you want to remediate the pollution in your backyard, call me. I will do for free. The advice is free. You don't have to give me a dime. And I guarantee it. Now, I was approached by somebody in Vijayawada. That mayor of the city is someone from Vijayawada. He wants to remediate the pollution of a lake. Last week he was talking to me. I said, I will come and do it for you. I'm going in as a volunteer again for 2-3 months every year from like 2002 and doing these projects. Ausufji heard my lecture one time in Downers Grove, where I presented my thing. Now I tell you what projects I did. This remediation of pollution of lake, close to $1 million. I didn't put $1 million. Ashok Gajapati was the Minister of Revenue at that time, Andhra Pradesh government. I went this year persistently for 15 years. I went to Vijayaram, sat in the collector's office. That's the first source of inspiration. But one young collector talked to me and we made it happen. 10 months. And that worked for 5 years. Now it is down the tube again because of lack of maintenance and operations. Second, my passion is if I don't want to use a pit latrine, it smells, it's ugly, no privacy. Why should a villager or a Dalit should use such a facility? My dream was to build him a state-of-the-art facility, which I did, with a $45,000 without asking anybody. That is near the village, near my hometown, Vijayanagaram, and it is functioning today. Water and sanitation, complete interconnected, integrated. Now these guys are buying water, 50% of the open defecation is eliminated. My charge is next 2 years, probably I will make it an open defecation free village. That 400 Dalits, they're using it. Third, talking about alternate source of energy. Modi's call is really close to my heart. He was talking about Swachh Bharat. Electricity grid is not connected for 40% of the villagers of India. Now, this again, low energy. I started with 8 villages in Madhya Pradesh because I found good volunteers in the Research Institute. We did provide solar lanterns for these 8 villages. And I didn't want to ask anybody. I brought the Theory Institute when Manmohanji announced a billion light campaign. I went and attended that conference in New Delhi. So 44 villages, they gave us funding without asking. We showed them. Now, if you are interested, we'll make solar lanterns happen. And they gave us money for 3,600 additional villages near Chhatrapur area. 44 villages have received solar lanterns because of our initiative. Third, and then the same 8 villages first we started with, we gave them smokeless churras because I'm an environmental person. I want to make their rooms environment free, just smoke free. So we gave that. Now I'm taking some other initiatives. I will tell you briefly, and then I think I will say quite bits. Now my passion is Swachh Bharat. They're building municipal treatment plants in India, all the class A, but class 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever cities that are going to build wastewater treatment plants. It's easy to build, but in India we have the sad history of poor maintenance and operation. And I want to teach operators. I'm taking a delegation of 5 to 6 people from Chicago area, and one of them is here, and we want to train them in Visakhapatnam, one of the 100 smart cities. I didn't ask a dime from the government. I want to show them, please send me your operators to my thing. I wrote the letters to Chandrababu Naidu government also, but Venkaiah Naidu government, he's the urban development minister. All the sewage treatment plants are in his custody. So far, I have not received a reply. I will send you the correspondence, and please do. I'm going to meet with them. I'm leaving this country on February 1 to volunteer my thing for 2 to 3 months in India. Every year I'm doing this since 2002, without telling anybody I go there. Some of my friends know. And there what I'm going to do, conduct this workshop in Visakhapatnam for 7 days, and then take them to Telangana and Hyderabad. I've been in touch with Rajiv Sharma, which is Chief Secretary of Telangana, and I met my friend here. He's going to connect me with somebody else. I want people to come. I'm not asking them for money. Is it too much to ask to people to come? I'm not asking the dime. So that's the other thing I'm going to do. That's the thing. Another project is in Telangana. I'm going to do a dialysis project. India and China are working against each other to be the #1 diabetic capital of the world. Okay, now what is it? There is a capacity. We visited that hospital, one of my Rotary friends visited that. They need a lot of machines. We are sending 12 dialysis machines with appurtenances at a cost of $160,000. You never gave me a dime, any one of you. If you want to give some money, this is the time for you to just exhibit that you are a sacrificial person and you're going to do this for your Indian brethren. I'm going to collect their gate at the card, give me, open your hearts and palates, as Rajaram said, this is the time to do it. So that's one thing we're going to do. So these are the projects I'm going to do. I wish everybody a great year, a lot of good health, and keep chugging away. Thank you for the staff you introduced me. They're very dynamic and fantastic.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for the opportunity.
Mr. Tata, for giving us that pep talk. And yeah, it definitely needs that energy at ATI. I wish I could have that today. Anyways, the last speaker today is Mr. Porus Dadaboy, and he's going to talk about India Development Coalition of America. I am requesting, sir, for the sake of time, we'll have to squeeze it. Thank you so much.
Good evening. Please turn off your cell phones. Thank you. I want to thank the Consul General and the staff for holding this event and all the distinguished guests who are present here today. My name is Dadaboy, and I'm named after a freedom fighter called Dadaboy Naoroji. Our organization is India Development Coalition of America, and it started with the theme of Swami Vivekananda, Let a New India Arise. IDCA was formed in October 2003. IDCA inspires and promotes social entrepreneurship to alleviate poverty and helps in mitigation and adaptation of climate change. We do this through various meetings in the USA and India by networking, collaboration, learning, giving, volunteering. We inform and inspire and involve the community at a large to change by sharing the best development practices from around the world and sharing knowledge on our website. We work to create wealth in India. When I say wealth, I will go over all the letters of the word wealth. W stands for water and sanitation. Today, 50% of all illness in India is water-based. We need good quality water, portable and drinkable. We work towards sustainable development of water management. Our activities and projects enhance efficient use of water by drip farming, rainwater harvesting, nanotechnology, UV processing, and chlorination. India today, unfortunately, only properly treats between 1% to 10% of its industrial waste effectively. 10% up to 30% of its waste sewage is properly treated, leaving 70% to 90% of those improperly treated. We encourage building 100,000 toilets by Mittal Foundation in Ludhiana. We've encouraged a 100 crore investment on waste treatment in Pune and accumulation with Serum India Limited. We encourage waste treatment teams like Dr. Prakasham Tata, who is going to take them so that we can educate, train, and problem-solve waste treatment problems in India. Second, education. Education has a huge impact on the culture of the society and provides dignity and confidence to the learners. Our network includes Pratham, who you heard from, the Gandhi College, and we encourage internet global learning, skills training, and soft skills get attention. In energy, we seeded the project that Prakasham Tata and an 80-year-old man took to change kerosene lanterns to solar lanterns. The safety, the cost benefit, the reduction in environmental health were further examples of success. Agriculture, attitude, and administration. Wealth is increased in a country by good agricultural practices like growing the right product in the right field at the right time. Today we have joined up with Farm and Farmers and 2 IIT graduates to enable to do that. Seeds for Life by the Sehgal Foundation in Delhi is a fine example of our efforts. Our ancestors settled in India to grow food and products for the 650,000 villages, and hence we have created an Adopt a Village program. We increase wealth by higher yields, knowledge, science, and technology. With a positive can-do attitude and conferences we are holding in Delhi, Hyderabad, and Jaipur, they are being held this year in January, February, and March. We teach administration and good governance and the best practices possible. We encourage freedom of information and we encourage Whistleblowers Act. As a matter of fact, I passed the Whistleblowers Act in Lombard, Illinois. Leadership and livelihoods. A once thoroughly agricultural society is slowly moving towards a manufacturing and service economy. Leadership, soft skills, trade skills, recognized by the government of India, consists of 150 items. The United States today recognizes skill training in 2,000 trades, so there is a big gap. We are trying to bridge this gap by creating the first social entrepreneurship program at the College of Informatics in Jaipur, and this will be our second attempt. Our connections with women's help groups and encouraging American university students from the Midwest, University of Iowa, University of Illinois, University of Wisconsin, and DePaul to send their students to India. Technology, trade, and transportation. As technology providence does not require huge infrastructural investments. In India, in its villages, technological improvement can come at low costs. We are looking at encouraging trade with our partners in Hyderabad and participating in a trade show in California, in Silicon Valley for food and agriculture. Technology and transportation can be simple. It can be bicycles for girls to go to school, It can be solar cookers to avoid wood burning, and it can be changing your eating style to going from a meat product to a vegan diet. Healthcare and housing, and that is our final area. Healthcare is the lifeline of any society. I serve as a member of the board of the Bel Air Foundation of Chicago, which resulted and created a nursing school in India in collaboration with the University of Illinois School of Nursing. We are grateful for a grant which was given by the Gandhi and Obama initiative for the treatment of HIV/AIDS in India. We also have several other projects like the Seva Foundation Hospital in Gujarat, the Eye Foundation under the efforts of Dr. Raju, and TB treatment under Asha. There are several other medical groups that participate with us. Students from the Winterim program in Iowa have studied housing, which is an important factor, and how to use low-cost local materials with natural air movements for air conditioning. We have also held communal harmony meetings, and we hold it with like-minded people in DuPage libraries with the League of Women Voters, where our Consul General kindly came and spoke, and at the University of Illinois, we have brought in Indian tribal art to all over the country, and it has been distributed and sold. Finally, I urge you all, every one of you, to get involved in India's development, because India's development is your development. It is the development of your families who are living there. Finally, this is a very good day for us because one of our presenters, one of our practitioners, is going to be awarded a Pravasi Divas honor for a book she wrote on India. Her name is Jaya Kamlani, and she wrote the book India with Tough Love. That book has gone to every Chief Justice in the country and has helped them understand the problems of India and what needs to be done with what we call in America tough love. Finally, as we are facing turmoil in the streets of Chicago and the conflicts in the Middle East, we are entering into a peace initiative in the Windy City, and we hope and we wish the government the very best in the coming years. Thank you, Jai Hind, and God bless America.
We'd actually planned a Q&A session and we're still sticking to it. Couple of questions and then we'll wrap up for the evening. So, any questions that we have? Sorry, please.
Okay, please. Yeah. Introduce yourself so that others know, and then you ask the question. Yeah, here, Mr. Mago, yeah, please.
Hi.
First question.
Hello. Working? Yeah. My name is Rajinder Singh Mago. I'm from the Punjabi and Sikh American community of Chicago area. I must congratulate you on a beautiful presentation. It was really very detailed and a lot of information, and I'm impressed by your own personal knowledge explaining a lot of those details as well. My question is, you did mention that there are so many ways to find out information about India. You had that mygov something in there. But once you've seen it, you just forget it. Is it possible for your council website to have a location in there where it says, ask your consulate? And that could go into two directions. One, about the consulate here. Number two, about India. About India, okay, how about the so-and-so department? How about the energy department? How about the coal producing department, petroleum department? And then there might be some links to that. And then here in consulate, I have such and such problem, I have visa problem, passport problem, or whatever other citizenship problem. This is my question. And then maybe, as you said, it gets answered in 48 hours. Could be, quicker, 24 or 48, whatever resources you have. And then instead of somebody sending you cg@indianconsulate.com a question, they could just go on the website and then put in their question and it could get answered.
Yes, thank you. Very good questions, actually. Now, just to clarify, this part of this thing already exists because the emails I gave it for the benefit of the people who are here. But when you go and log on to the consulate website, in fact, all the officers, there is a form mail which is there. So that means exactly whatever questions which you have to say, for commercial, you use this, for visa, you use this. So basically, it doesn't say the email, but it gives a lot of space for people to write their questions. And in fact, much of our interaction from the public is through that, because then they ask questions on any matter. Now, on the Government of India thing, many important sites, we have been linking it, and our effort is to continuously update this so that you get the current information. And in the coming days, you will find more and more information of use to all of you, both as Indian American diaspora and as well as entrepreneurs and social workers. You will find it more coming there. Now, the one thing which I wanted to do, we couldn't do it, but certainly we'll try to do now, is that the FAQs, frequently asked questions. Now, many times our officers get questions. Sometimes these look trivial to us, but for many people who are asking, these are very important questions. Those may not be effectively answered maybe on the website. So we are in the process of developing FAQs for each of the areas, like for visas, for OCI, for passport, for any other thing. Now, we also need your help in this, because you send us your questions. Whatever questions you all may have, because you are representing different organizations here, and we have in fact had this kind of arrangement with the community members in Michigan and Detroit. They did send us a lot of questions last year, which we compiled it. So this, we would like to take it up as a thing. So that would be your first reference for anything which you would like to know about the common questions, and then we can build on this. But certainly, your suggestions are very, very well taken. Thank you so much. Yes, please, gentlemen.
The thing that you mentioned about SACC, South Asian Cardiovascular Care, and the Red Side event, I'm a council member. I don't know much English. I'm born and brought up in India, but just like he mentioned, our Indian people are so smart making all these IT people, but our consulate general thing is not friendly usable. I don't know, maybe that's my suggestion. And I had a very bad incident about I applied for my visa, and also they asked me for renunciation. That happened in March, and I had my visa for India, but I never got my renunciation certificate. I already paid, and I gave all those certificates, whatever they asked. And I have been waiting and waiting. I contacted CKGS many times. I didn't get a good response. So in September, I think I wrote a letter. I certified to Consulate General of India. And I got a statement back that it got received here. I never got any reply. I was very upset about it. Then I called CKGS many times. They said, okay, 24 hours, somebody's going to get back to you. Never did, anybody.
Okay.
So
I get what you do is that you just give us a reference. She raised an important point of renunciation. Many of you would be really wondering what this is about. And now there are certain, my personal views on renunciation are very, very different than what are the official views. Personal view is different, that I wanted to go. But then the thing is that, renunciation has been bothering a lot of people. Renunciation basically means that when you were originally Indian citizen, and now you became a US citizen, you had an Indian passport. That passport was to have been surrendered. The rule is to surrender it as quickly as you can. I think it is 1 year maximum, I think. And then you take a certificate. Before that, several years before, you were only required to submit the passport. They will put a cancel stamp and give it back to you. That was the end of the matter. Now I think in the last 5 years or so, they started this concept of renunciation. That means you should also have, in addition, a certificate saying that you've renounced. Now the problem which we are facing is that when you ask for visas, and the Prime Minister, when he came, he announced 10-year visas for all the US citizens. Now there is, this has come with a rider when it came with instructions, is that provided people have the renunciation. Now this is the catch-22 situation, because many of the old timers, for example, they may not have kept the cancelled passport. You may have lost it genuinely. You may not have any documents. Now for those who have the original passport intact, it is the fast-track mechanism. You see the original passport, we don't see anything else. You get your renunciation on the spot. That means along with the visa or the OCI or directly here. And you get it. Or second case is that where you have, you don't have a original passport, but you do have a copy of the passport, that is again a fast track mechanism, we don't need anything. Now, for those who do not have these two, now and especially for those who have been here for a long time, now it is very difficult for us, I mean, you know the dynamics of the country and our geopolity, to identify who is an Indian national only on the basis of their the names, the language they speak, or even the place of birth. Somebody who is born in India not necessarily is an Indian, proven on the paper, because you may have been born in India, gone to some other country, taken that nationality before you came and became a US citizen. So the person on the ground, the consular staff, they are trying to establish that linkage. So, but there is a solution. Our instructions and our rules are like that. If you do not have the original passport, if you do not have the copy of the passport, then CKGS has been instructed to accept these applications with whatever supporting documents you can give. For example, you can give a birth certificate, you can give your SSC certificate, graduation certificate, if you're a medical doctor, medical certificate, anything like that. And then we scrutinize those documents when it comes to the CKGS. If we need more information, we will either call you over phone, or ask you for certain information, or call you for a personal interview. And once we are satisfied, that is done, and it's a one-time process. So this helps us also to eliminate those people who may have been born in India but acquired other nationality, and by giving false information, they would then obtain an Indian overseas Indian card. So this is the thing which is there. So I really regret about the inconvenience which has been caused to you, but we will solve it. Please give your reference to her, and then we will do it.
Okay.
Next one, please.
Thank you very much.
Hello. My name is Jesse Parmar. I'm from Desi Junction Radio. We have a lot of listeners who have given us a lot of questions, and first of all, I want to thank you and your staff. I think my media partners here will agree that this was one of the very, very friendly atmosphere you have created, and the information that you have shared is very, very valuable. So thank you so much, first of all. Great job. Another thing that we've found from our listeners is that for the last few months it's very, very approachable, very friendly environment that they're seeing. You personally are on Facebook, and anybody can approach you and your staff, and that I think that's very commendable. So the question that I have is, how can we, the media, help? Because this is an exciting time for India, very, very exciting time for all of us. A lot of good initiatives are being done, and the information that you've shared is very, very valuable. So how can we all participate, and how can we help to take it forward and take it to our communities, and especially the initiative that you've shown for the mayors of our cities? That's very, very commendable. So thank you. So I just want to know, how can we help as media?
You see, there are lots of positive stories in the Indian American diaspora. You have heard a few of them, how they are contributing selflessly. And since I have been traveling, I have met several, Indian Americans who have distinguished themselves either as scholars or as scientists, or I mentioned about this Dr. Dash, who have donated $3 million for a public cause, and like that there are many. But not many of us are actually aware of such individuals who are living and existing among us. So those kinds of positive stories would be there. As a consulate thing, there was a suggestion which has come from some radio channels here and also in Detroit, is that whether we can come on a regular or a weekly show where you can ask live, because some people have said many of the government officials are very they try to avoid direct live thing, but then if we know the format well, and if we are there, we'll be prepared to actually accept this thing on a particular thing, so that your listeners will be there anywhere, and they could be then in a position to answer the thing. So I will be very happy to work with you. Yes, Sunil Shah.
Sunil Shah with Federation of Indian Association. We all witnessed the glimpses of 2015, and personally also we have seen your vision and dynamism, and for that we'd like to applaud you for your dedication. And before putting my question, I would like to make one comment that last year we had several events, and there was so much duplication of events on one day. So in 30 seconds I would like to narrate about our events for this year for FIA. January 14th is our Republic Day. January 24th is our Republic Day event. March 27th is our Holi event. And August 13th would be our Independence Day event. And Now coming back to your question, like we have seen that in our country, in USA, we have about 3 million strong Indian diaspora, and majority of them we see they have investments in India, like residential investment, commercial investment. They have businesses in India. People from India over here, they have been supporting any candidates during the election time. We have seen, we all doing our fundraisings in all over US when there is any disaster or any calamities in India. But one thing what we see that we don't have the voting right. Something that would like to address you, that if you can take it over. And by that, I have several of my friends, and they were also asking that because of having voting rights, they can be able to stand in election in India if they want to. So we'd like to know something about that.
Okay, thank you. Very good questions. First thing is about your programs, and I urge all of the organizations here that whatever programs which you are planning, if you write to us, we have the cultural event session in the consulate. We will start putting it so that it serves like a 1-point single cultural calendar for the entire Indian American diaspora in Chicagoland, so that each one would know. So since now you are telling about this thing, just shoot off a small mail and we'll put on the thing. These are the events which are there. For us also, then it will be easy. And especially when you are celebrating Independence Day, Republic Day, it will always be good if you synchronize, coordinate and do it, so that people get the benefit of, people from the downtown area get the benefit of joining the celebrations in the suburbs, people from suburbs get the opportunity to join here, like that. And sometimes we see that very well-known, renowned, distinguished artists are invited by some of you here, and at the same time another distinguished artist is performing somewhere else. So despite the fact that you may like to appreciate both, you may not be able to do so. So I think a little bit of coordination would help, and we would certainly be happy to put all your things on the consulate website. And also we have encouraged people here that if you have like a poster or something, you can always put it here. As regards your question about the voting rights for Indian diaspora abroad, I think this has been the demand for a long time. I would encourage you to write to our agencies, our honorable ministers during the Pravasi Bharati thing, and then if you write to us, we will be certainly we can forward it on your behalf. Yes, Mr. Murtha.
Just one last question, sir.
We have a couple of questions. We'll take another 5 minutes. Yeah.
This is Shyam Papu.
Okay. Mr. Shyam Papu, and then Mr. Murtha.
Yeah, I'm an with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago.
Yeah.
The presentation you have given today, it is excellent, and then where like the people will be thinking of the Indian consulate is just visas and the passport services only, where just people will have now the idea like we are going beyond that. One quick suggestion is like we have got like here a pot of gold, like Dr. Tata, for us, and Dr. Rajaram and all these people who are doing a lot of work, and they are trying to give their services for free in a very acclaimed area. So because your consulate particularly doing completely different than all other things, why not you take a lead and connect these people to the main ministries over there, saying that hey, we have got like this type of expertise with us, this type of the non-profit organization working here, so you can use them. As Dr. Tata now mentioned that we want to do that certain services, but like we don't know where we have to connect and all this.
So
probably,
I think it will be our pleasure to do that, and surely, and individually we know, but then as an institutional arrangement, we will do something. We'll kind of create a database and then connect it. So I think we will start this process. Very good, this thing, and so we will have to have that kind of system. I really appreciate you for this very valuable solution. Please.
Thank you very much. My name is Moon Khan. I'm FIA President, Vice President. One thing which I just want to add upon what you just mentioned, it's a very good suggestion which you are talking about. Is it possible, can we access to your calendar? Could you put on a calendar where you are adding, and also we will be sending out to the information. In that way there will not be any conflicts, because a lot of times happens that we come up with the programs and some other organizations are doing, and somehow we don't have communication or we have miscommunication. If you put there, and we can add, either by login or just open, and in that way it will really be very helpful. And thank you so much for your open door policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Done?
I'll take 1 second.
Okay, please.
So one quick.
Yeah, 1 minute. After him, then I'll come back to you.
Thank you, Consul General. We have two questions to you.
Yes, please.
We are listening to many complaints, phone calls, visa, passport, personal grievance. I'm not talking for that. I'm doing something different.
Please go ahead.
We are in the California, the mini Pravasi Divas. When I got your email, I was in that impression that you are talking for Pravasi Divas, doing some program by Chicago, mini Pravasi Divas. Can you give some light that can we do? We have so many organizations, people here. They can spend millions of dollars. Can we do mini Pravasi Divas in Chicago? That's all.
In fact, you have spoken what I actually wanted. We have so much of community strength here, and I think Chicagoland would be an ideal choice for any event, Pravasi event. And I think the trend has started that the Pravasi Divas is being held abroad in different cities. I'm sure, through this medium, I would say that people in Chicago have demanded that whenever they do the next Pravasi, Divas in US, it should be Chicago.
Yes.
I support this. Yes, Mr.
So my name is Dr. Manish Raizada. Thanks for the commendable presentation. My only one suggestion is that since Consulate, this Consul General and Consulate is particularly very active, we should have these kind of more frequent interactions through you, so that the community becomes more cohesive.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's our wish also, and I think what I would also encourage is that you see, sometimes we find for people to come to downtown, the high parking charges, there are things which are difficult. But if some of you are also interested in organizing some kind of an event, we don't necessarily have to have these events only here. While for me it is most convenient to come out of my room and then address you. But if you are also planning something, I will be more than happy to join any of these things where we can have this similar kind of sessions, where we learn from each other and then try to improvise and strengthen our community resources. Surely,
So we also run a news portal called newsgram.com. It's like Instagram, MoneyGram.
Right.
So newsgram.com, and the purpose is to basically bring the community together.
That's very good. And if you have seen in our website, we also have this news feed for the news media. So basically, news feed is if you just click it, as and when we update it, it also comes on your computer. So this is again which we can make use of, and this year we intend to also kind of update it as the things happen. Our Facebook page is almost updated instantly. So we are really that way trying to keep pace with the thing. The press release which is being distributed to you also has a lot of information which you are free to use as a public knowledge. Yes, ma'am.
Just a very little one. We've been doing this for years and years and years. Is this the message that we are getting from India about the transparency, about the communication? Because earlier it was not. It is not Dr. Sayed, like as the CG here, or is it the demand from because the communication with the diaspora, knowing them, their needs, and getting back to them and hearing them? How's that? I'd like to know that.
You see,
because we are seeing more transparency from the GUI also, PM office also, everywhere.
Yeah, I think in general, governments all over the world, I would say, have become more responsive to the needs of the people. So this is a general development which you see, and India is again keeping pace with that. And people are also empowered, and they want to know information. They want to be part of the decision making. As far as India is concerned, we're one of the very few countries where we have this Right to Information Act, where people can ask critical questions to government, and government is bound to give information. And it is the fee in dollar terms is equal to a few cents, maybe 15 cents.
Yeah.
You just write, and we have the nodal officers here, Mr. Bhati and Mr. Vishwapal, who answer this, the queries, on the for the RTI matters, Right to Information Act matters. So that means the governments have, over a period of time, made people, empowered by allowing them to ask questions. So we can't be arbitrary in our decisions. So this is something which is there. Now, having said that, individual officers, individual consulates, everybody will have their own individual styles of doing it. Some do it in a different manner, some do it in another manner.
As far as I am concerned personally, I have been dealing with public right from my very first posting after the thing as a regional passport officer, Hyderabad. As a very, very young officer. So I am used to dealing with people. In fact, when I was RPO Hyderabad, I was to see 500 people a day. You know, so I barely used to have a 5 minutes as a cup of coffee from 9:30 until 1. So I feel, to me, it appears that community is a strength because see, we learn. We come here for shorter time, like we have stalwarts here, you have a lot of suggestions. I don't get upset if somebody is critical of the thing, but I would expect, constructive suggestions how we improve, how we collectively improve, how we improve this thing. As you have seen, our effort is to interpret government rules in a manner which helps people. We don't interpret rules to deny services or deny anything to you, but we try to say. But sometimes we are constrained by the fact. So when people, community leaders send to us references for passports, visas and all that, you should also ask the people who are saying, have you applied? Or have you applied to the right agency? Do you have a file number? Because if you do that thing before you send to us, our response to you will be instant. Because most of the time what we have seen is that people are writing to different organizations in India, Prime Minister's office, here and there, they're flooding them with messages. But what they have done, they have either given their passport to some third party, some agent who has not even submitted here. So the application has not yet come here. So my action, my role, officer's role begins when it actually comes here. So currently, we are again one of the first consulates which had started printing passports here, and now again we are one of the couple of consulates which have recently upgraded our system to C-Visa system, which is an upgraded system. And then now the new passports which you're also getting with ghost image. This is the most secure passports of any country anywhere in the world. So when you carry those passports with the ghost image of yours, it is acceptable internationally. It's the top order thing. So all this is being done here because, and this we are doing it within 5 working days. Now, in fact, there was a time we brought it down to 3 working days for the new passport, and visas 2 to 3 working days, the maximum time period. But invariably, every visa goes the second day, and only when you are asking for the visa the same day you are paying that additional $100 tatkal fee. But there are people who want to pay $100 fees even for passport. You get the passport the same day or the next day, depending on the volume. So you can't expect anything better than that. And we have been constantly counseling our people who deal with the public to be as polite as possible. Sometimes they are dealing with hundreds of people. Sometimes they are also human beings. They may sometimes get overcome by emotions. But that's why we made this channel of seeing the officers. We are not satisfied with the response, see an officer. In fact, we do get the thing, even when we have said certain things, authoritatively it is not possible, people have actually gone to a friend of mine or to a boss of mine who says, can this be done? Because suppose if the court says that you can't do this, that means we are tied. But again, having said that, our effort is to be as responsive as possible. We can't say that our organization is 100% error-free. We do commit errors, but then if you commit errors, we'll be happy to acknowledge it and come back to your rescue. So please feel free to interact with us. And if at all, despite all that, if something gets neglected, you bring to my notice, and you will be rest assured that it is done. And many times we have done it. Not only here, we have also facilitated people elsewhere also where they have landed in trouble.
Dr. Asuf Saira, and the last one, I guess.
Okay.
We good with FIA.
And he's my Facebook friend too. So
okay. Thank you so much. With the open door policy, I think this is the best form of communication that we have had in so many years of consulate offices. This happens to be the top of the cream. I don't think we could surpass this. If these are the errors, I think these are better errors. On the question that we have, one is entrepreneurship. I know you support entrepreneurship. You have business delegations that come from India. You go out some places. What we feel is if you could be a little bit more informed for the business community here, we could be more participating in those things. So that's my first question, is can it be made a little more, announced more? That's what one.
Yeah, I think, we have different resources in the community. We have seen certain people very much involved in socio-economic development. So there are people, we can have an empowered group of such community members who we can interact for those matters, so that, it's easy for us also to engage with. We can meet once a month or once in 2 months, whatever is convenient. Similarly, we have young breed of people. There are also entrepreneurs here. We have, of course, Mr. Anirudhan, who is also the Pravasi Award winner here. And in fact, I think we should direct he's the Pravasi Award winner. So today is the right time that he came. He's also an entrepreneur. So we have, of course, Neil was there even in the boot school thing, and so a lot of people are here. So I would also like to create these kinds of advisory groups for us, which would also benefit you. And then of course media. I mean media, we have been having this interaction quite regularly, and at least once a quarter. Our aim is to have once a quarter interaction with the media. Once a quarter an open house here where during the day anybody can come, whether consular or non-consular matter, and we will be engaging there, and the consular camps, and any other interactive sessions where you people want me or my officers to go. Many times it may not be possible for me to attend personally everything, but if I am not able to attend, I will ensure that some representation is there. One of the consuls or the vice consuls attend your this thing. So thank you very much. We had a great.
One more question there.
Yeah.
H1 visa, right?
Yeah.
That was one of the golden visas that people came here. Your CEO of Microsoft is coming from the same visa. Sundar Pichai is CEO of Google, is H1 visa. Today the H1 visa is trying to get diminished and is getting lesser and lesser important, getting more complicated. Is there a way that somebody could lobby for again opening of visas so that we can create the age again?
In fact, this is something which we are constantly engaging different influence groups within the United States, using our community members and others. Certainly, it's an important area in which I would like to engage separately with some of you and then see how best we can flag these and other issues of concern to us. Thank you very much once again, and have a enjoy the day.
मारे या कोई मारे ना, यहाँ अपनी भी थोड़ी अदा थोड़ा अंदाज है।